Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit-Down, back in for a little more Spooktober action. If you've been following along with me this month, you know for October, or Spooktober, I've been watching and reviewing a different scary, spooky Halloween movie every day this month. We are through 16 days, finally got all caught up yesterday. We've had a couple stumbles along the way, but we are caught up, getting ready to dive into our 17th movie. And as you can see with the graphic on screen, I think I've come up with a pretty good mix of like classic movies and really good new school movies, and just a nice mix of different types of horror and Halloween movies. And we've just kind of shifted into the newer generation of horror, the more highbrow generation of horror, who, of course, has been heavily influenced by Jordan Peele's movies. So we just watched Get Out and Us, and you know how much I love Jordan Peele, and his influence on the genre since he showed up has been felt in many places, and specifically this movie. So why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat, we're getting ready to dive in, spoiler free, into Black Box. And I say spoiler free because it's a brand new movie, man. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you should have seen that Blumhouse dropped 4 different horror movies that are currently up. I only happened to see this one pop up in my queue, and when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, that actually would fit really, really good right after Get Out and Us, because it definitely feels like it's been birthed out of that type of horror. And the thing I like about Black Box is that it does. I like these horror movies that work more in the suspense thriller area and make you think or do things that make you kind of like, damn, like what is going on here? And the key to any of those types of movies is having a really, really good mystery. We've seen that with Get Out and Us, and the way that Peele kind of reveals those things. And Black Box definitely has those vibes. It doesn't quite have the racial conversations that Peele has had in his movies. This is more of a script that I think could have suited just about any actor of any color. But it is mainly a black cast, and everybody delivers, I think, pretty well. It just feels like it's 1 or 2 bars below what Jordan Peele would give you. It feels like it's lacking some of that social awareness or some of those like really key or important ideas that kind of speak to things going on socially, and a little bit more heart. I didn't quite get the connection I wanted between our main character and his daughter and family, and there are emotional beats in there. They just don't quite hit as well as if someone like Jordan Peele might have been in charge. But nevertheless, I do like the fact that he has influenced a whole almost subgenre of movies that we're kind of seeing come out that have that type of Get Out, Us feel. And Black Box certainly fits that mold. And Emmanuel Osei-Kuffour, who's a first-time feature director here and also a writer. He's done like 4 or 5 shorts, I think, in the past. Before a debut flick, he hits the mark, I think, pretty well. And the story here, for those that are unfamiliar, follows a single father. Him and his wife get into a car accident that happens off-screen before the movie starts. Wife doesn't survive. He suffers severe brain damage. And when we pick up in the movie, it's a couple months probably from that, and he's trying to put it together and try to remember things. From the brain damage, he's suffered a massive amount of amnesia. And when we pick up with Nolan, we understand that he has a brother who's a doctor that's helping him out, and his daughter, who's like a 2nd or 3rd grader, who also is basically like helping him run his life. And while he's trying to put things together, he keeps forgetting things, specifically to pick Ava up from school. And we get to a point early on in the movie where it's like, hey, if you don't change this, social services is going to come in. And that's when he kind of breaks and goes, I'm going to go for this last-ditch effort. There's a trial going on at the hospital his brother works at. And it's run by Felicia Rashad's character. And basically, it's this technology that's supposed to help people with brain trauma. You put this thing, the Black Box, on, and it's just a completely black space. And then it taps into, there's all sorts of nodes and things on your head, and it taps into like your brain waves. And if you think about a safe place, it digitally creates it and kind of puts you in a VR that allows you to go through and search your memories. And with a stopwatch or with a wristwatch, you can kind of advance or rewind time to go to different places to help recover memories. And as Nolan kind of starts to recover certain memories, there's all sorts of mysteries and things going on to like what's actually happening, and it kind of goes down a bunch of different twists and turns. I really do find the story quite interesting. It's got that kind of Twilight Zone, or now definitely Black Mirror vibe. The play into technology, I think, really works in the horror suspense realm, because it's one of those things where it's like, now as technology really is getting as good as you can come up with in movies, it never feels like it's too far away, and the concepts they play with here are pretty good and create some really interesting stuff. Some of the visuals, the way Nolan goes in and out of the black box is a pretty cool visual. Before the room can be built, it's like one of those all black spaces with just light on him. Really pops. And just the conceptual things of him going through his memories and trying to remember and figure out who he is and where those are to kind of release them. Is really interesting. And then naturally there's some weird, creepy stuff going on in his memories. And like Felicia Rashad's character says, that's your memory trying to protect yourself. Keep pushing forward. Keep pushing past it. And how that all plays out, I think, really hits quite well. That like end of the story, I really dug. Again, it was that emotional weight that was missing a little bit for me. But overall, I think that O.C. Kufor does a really good job both writing and directing here, especially for a first time out the gate full feature film. I think there's something definitely there that he was able to tap into that works. And as far as the cast and the performances go, I think they're really good. That's really what got me into the movie. Our lead, Mamadou Athie, who plays Nolan, never had seen him in anything before, and really it's an interesting character. It takes a little while to get into him because of the amnesia stuff. So like his performance is kind of a little erratic, and as he starts to kind of get his own footing, really takes off about a quarter of the way into the movie and just crushes everything they give him. I really thought he put a very interesting, nuanced performance into this character that's struggling with some things, and he's got some emotional swings in the movie that play into some of the frustration and things that he's going through, and I just feel like Athie nails all that stuff. And then, like I said, Felicia Rashad's playing this doctor. She's an interesting character. Her story is interesting, and I mean, she's just a classic great, man. I love Felicia Rashad, and she plays this role pretty well. Like it's a rock solid performance that has some interesting elements that, again, I think you could have maybe dived into a little bit more. I think there really could be some interesting things that she could have, had added to her character, or added to the story with her character. But what they give her, pretty solid stuff. Amanda Christine plays Nolan's daughter, Ava. Adorable, man. Like I said, she's got to be like second, third grade maybe, and she has this real adultness to her because she has to help take care of Nolan. Like, Nolan forgets things, and they have Post-its all over the house, and helps him get ready for interviews or ties his tie. Like, does a lot of the things that he should be doing for his daughter, and that creates some interesting tension between the two, and gives Christine a lot of really interesting things to do from an acting standpoint, because she's playing such an adult type role. But then at the same time, she's also like a little kid. Like, when he forgets to pick her up, or when he can't put things together and keeps messing up, she starts to get like, I'm a freaking kid, man. Like I need more. And that disappointment, that kid-like disappointment that's in her face sometimes is heartbreaking. She just really nails all that stuff. Then we also have another actor. Most of the actors in this movie I'm not familiar with, and this name is going to trip me up really bad. Tosin Morohunfola, who plays Gary, Nolan's brother. Nice supporting job. Doesn't really do anything wrong, but doesn't really stand out too much. It's a character and a role that is fairly small, but I think could have had more to it, maybe with a different actor. Like I said, I think he does a fine job. But again, it's one of those things where it's like the other characters in the movie could have used a little bit more love and a little bit more kind of fleshing out that may have enhanced the film. But I think we get a fine job from him. And then lastly is Charmaine Bingwa, plays Miranda. Does a really good job. Her character plays a really integral part into the story and how it all plays as Nolan's kind of figuring things out. And the way that plays, it's one of those things that kind of keeps you doing this a lot. And Bingwa just does a really good physical performance. There's not a ton of lines for her, not a lot of writing for her character, but there is a lot of looks. And the looks that you get and the feelings that she's exuding physically really pop on screen. I thought worked quite well. So overall, I think Black Box is a pretty solid movie. It's definitely in that realm of Jordan Peele type, sci-fi horror. Like I said, like Black Mirror, Twilight Zone kind of vibe. And it works most of the time. And it has some pretty good performances, specifically from Amadou Athie, who, I don't know if this is a debut movie or not, but really, really crushed what he was doing. And at the end of the day, I think if Jordan Peele was producing or writing there, you maybe get someone that's a little bit better. But for a first-time writer-director in Emmanuel Osikufor, I think we get a pretty solid movie, and one that's on Amazon, so that's always nice. And Blumhouse just keeps on rolling with, not missing too often. So Black Box worked more often than not for me, and like I said, the creepy elements in it, and the things that are going on in Nolan's mind, that stuff I really, really dug. So that kind of pushes it up for me a little bit. But there you go, man. Those are all my thoughts on Black Box. Now I want to know what you're thinking. If you had a chance to check out any of the Blumhouse movies that are on Amazon, while the other three are not on my list, definitely going to try to check them out when I have time to. But when it comes to Black Box, what'd you think? Good, bad? Does it feel like I don't want to say knockoff, but like a Jordan Peele movie that, is down a couple bars, not quite at that level, but in that realm? How did those things work? What they played with, specifically the black box and going in and kind of playing with a person's mind. What was working and not working and all of that stuff. Anything you're thinking, good, bad, indifferent about Black Box, down below in the comments. Look forward to talking to you down there. As always, if you enjoyed this review, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with C-Man, show a little love, support. If you haven't, join the C-Maniacs by jumping over there, hitting that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the C-Man Cinema Sit Down, I'm the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Well, oh, B, you guys are still here? You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.